Why is it that the so-called perfect breakfast you've been eating every single day might actually be letting your muscles waste away? I mean, what if that absolute go-to meal is quietly steering you right toward frailty and losing your independence when a completely hidden dirt-cheap food could literally reverse the whole shebang? Hey guys, I am super pumped you're tuning into this explainer because today, well, I'm sharing my own personal story. We're going to look at what's legitimately happening inside our bodies as we age, and I'm keeping the ultimate crazy cheap solution totally under wraps until the very end. You're definitely going to want to stick around because what we're covering today could absolutely give you your strength back, even if you're pushing 90.
Okay, let's dive right into this. You know, I used to eat 2 eggs every single morning, rain or shine. I honestly thought I was bulletproofing my body for my golden years. I thought I had it all figured out. That is, until my doctor gave me a massive reality check. I was feeling super sluggish, my legs felt like lead on the stairs, and my doc basically flat out told me my muscles were shrinking right under my nose despite doing what I thought was best.
And man, the scary math behind why my legs felt like absolute jello is wild. The cold hard truth is that after age 50, we naturally lose 1 to 2% of our muscle mass every single year. It's this condition called sarcopenia. And look, it's a direct, frightening fast track to losing our mobility. Just imagine losing up to 30% of your total strength by the time you hit 80. No way, right? That is a one-way ticket to walkers, injuries, and giving up our independence.
So I'm back in my doctor's office, right? He looks at my diet, literally points at my daily 2-egg breakfast, and drops this exact quote. He says, 2 eggs only give you about 12 grams of protein. You are practically starving your muscles. I'll be straight with y'all, that absolutely blew my mind. It was my ultimate wake-up call. I always thought eggs were the holy grail, you know, the perfect protein. But it turns out, as we get older, the rules of the game completely change.
Section 1. Why aging muscles starve.
So why exactly were my daily eggs failing me so badly? Well, the main culprit is this biological roadblock called anabolic resistance. Basically, as we get older, our muscles get incredibly stubborn. They just do not respond to protein the way they did when we were, say, in our 20s. So those 6 little grams of protein in a single egg, yeah, they just don't cut it anymore. Your body needs a much louder signal to actually start repairing that tissue.
Section 2. The leucine light switch. To totally outsmart this anabolic resistance, we need a secret weapon. It's a super powerful essential amino acid called leucine. This was the exact magic key I was completely missing from my diet. And the absolutely crucial point here is the dosage. Science, including some hard data from the International Society of Sports Nutrition, shows we literally need to hit a clinical threshold of roughly 3 grams of leucine per meal to actively force our bodies to start building muscle again. 2 whole eggs? Man, they barely get you halfway there.
And the biology behind how this all works is just fascinating. When you eat the right high-leucine food, it flips on something known as the MTR pathway. You can think of MTR as literally your body's muscle-building light switch. Once that switch is flipped, boom, it rapidly triggers muscle protein synthesis. And that right there is what does all the heavy lifting for your tissue repair.
Section 3. Cheap everyday muscle builders.
Now, you might be thinking, you need to drop hundreds of bucks on fancy whey isolates or weird supplements. Nope, actually, scratch that. You totally don't. We don't need to waste our hard-earned cash on expensive, processed junk when there are incredibly cheap, everyday foods hiding in plain sight right at the local grocery store. Just look at the hard data. Foods like cottage cheese and canned sardines completely outclass your standard eggs when we're talking about highly usable protein density and sheer cost effectiveness. They're dirt cheap, but biologically, they are absolute gold mines for our aging muscles.
Let's talk about cottage cheese for a second. For me, this was a total game changer. It's packed to the brim with this slow-digesting casein protein. Think of it kind of like an IV slow drip for your muscles. If you eat it in the evening, it actively repairs your muscle fibers overnight while you're fast asleep. I actually read this crazy case study about a 72-year-old woman named Helen who started eating cottage cheese at night, and literally within weeks, her morning leg stiffness just vanished. Plus, it's extremely budget-friendly and gives you a massive hit of calcium for your bones. Then you have canned sardines. Okay, I know, they aren't exactly glamorous, but man, they are jacked up on high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids. And why does that even matter? Because omega-3s fight off that hidden joint inflammation that quietly erodes your strength as you age. For literally under $2 a pop, you're getting vitamin D for joint health, calcium from those tiny edible bones, and a massive hit of muscle-protecting power.
And hey,
If you want to keep things plant-based, cheap staples like lentils and chickpeas deliver a really massive protein punch. Take chickpeas, for instance. They don't just give you protein, they're completely loaded with complex carbs and fiber for steady, crash-free energy. Another incredible story from the research was a 70-year-old named Evelyn. She swapped out her standard white bread for chickpea salads and completely kicked her afternoon fatigue to the curb. Her legs literally felt stronger just from getting that steady, high-quality fuel.
But hey, we also really have to talk about bioavailability. All that means is how much protein your body actually absorbs and puts to use. Sure, eggs score high there, but things like strained Greek yogurt and fermented tempeh stack up phenomenally well too. They deliver super easily absorbed high-quality protein that isn't going to wreck an aging, sensitive digestive system. Tempeh even brings probiotics to the party to keep your gut healthy, which actually helps you absorb even more nutrients. Talk about a total win-win.
Section 4. The ultimate muscle superfood. Okay, at the very start of this explainer, I promised you the ultimate highly accessible muscle builder, the exact one the medical industry really isn't talking about and the one I honestly had to discover the hard way. Well, bam, here it is. The absolute cheapest, most highly concentrated muscle-building food is actually dried fish powder. I know, it sounds totally wild, but discovering this completely changed the trajectory of my own health journey and totally flipped how I view nutrition.
Let's put it head-to-head for a second. When you compare a pricey, highly processed whey shake, which by the way can aggressively spike your insulin levels, to dried fish powder, the powder wins hands down every single time. I mean, it delivers a staggering 63 grams of highly bioavailable protein per 100 grams. It easily hits that massive leucine dose we talked about earlier, it comes in a completely natural whole food matrix, and it is practically dirt cheap.
And look, this isn't just my own personal opinion here. The clinical evidence is downright wild. Studies actually show that seniors over 60 who simply added this cheap powder to their daily diet gained 19% more lean muscle in just 10 weeks. And get this, they did that without even stepping foot inside a gym. You just effortlessly mix it right into your daily soups, stews, or even savory oatmeal, and you let that bioavailable protein do all the heavy lifting for your body.
Oh, and here's a quick pro tip for you. If you combine that massive protein hit with a tiny, super cheap ancient grain called teff, you will be absolutely unstoppable. Teff is completely loaded with an amino acid called lysine, which builds the vital collagen you need to lock that brand new muscle securely onto your aging bones and protect those joints. It is literally the ultimate one-two punch for longevity and stability.
So I really have to ask you, looking at all this evidence, which of these cheap, science-backed superfoods are you going to add to your grocery list this week? Are you ready to reclaim your strength, your balance, and your overall independence? The choice is entirely in your hands, guys. Start with just one small change tomorrow, and just watch how beautifully your body responds. I really hope this explainer gave you some serious food for thought. Catch you next time.